Okay, you can hear. Okay, great. So Stacey Dash. So have you guys heard about what's happening with Stacey Dash and all the like controversy of what she said and the comments that she made? Have you guys heard it? Give me a thumbs up or give me some. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me now. Give me a thumbs up. Give me some hearts. Give me something if you heard the controversy with Stacey Dash. So apparently she was on, I think, one of the Fox television shows, and they were kind of doing a sit-down interview with her, and they asked her just about how she felt about African Americans. Boy, I think the question was, and correct me y'all if I'm wrong, the question was African Americans boycotting the award show coming up. And she was just basically saying that, if we're really being real and if we're trying to be equal for everybody, then we shouldn't basically be so hypersensitive for African American culture. So we should take away Black History Month and BET. And I was like, no, Stacey, no. Because I knew what was going to happen. And I understood where she was coming from. But that is a private conversation and a private opinion that should not be expressed publicly. So I understood what she was saying, and she was saying that, hey, if we had a white entertainment television and White History Month, like, she was inferring that, then that would be unacceptable. But it's different for minority culture, for Black culture. However, I understood what she was saying, but it was not okay, and I didn't necessarily agree with what she was saying. But the thing that happened with Stacey Dash, and you see all the memes, you can go Google it, and I'm sure you can pull up a bunch of stuff. You can see it on Instagram. All the people have all the different pictures and videos. The internet can be a hard place. And what happened was, people weren't just mad about what she said. Here's the issue. It seemed like people got more frustrated because she was identifying with being white as opposed to identifying with being Black. And that's the thing that people seem to attack. And that's not necessarily my opinion, but it seemed like the people were attacking that it seemed like she didn't want to identify with what her own heritage was. And she'd rather identify with something else outside of her race. And that's where a lot of the issue, a lot of the heat came from. And I'm here to let you know that no matter if you're Black, white, Hispanic, other, Asian, whatever, your skin is just a house. This skin, is just a house. I'm a light-skinned Black man, and let me tell you, this skin is just a house. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be like race insensitive. And I love the skin I'm in, and I love Black History Month, and I really do. I treasure, my upbringing and my heritage and where I come from. But the skin is just a house. If I put on a black glove, it doesn't mean I'm a dark-skinned man all of a sudden. If I put on a white glove, doesn't mean I'm a Caucasian man all of a sudden. If I put on a brown-skinned glove, doesn't mean I'm Hispanic all of a sudden. It's just a glove. It doesn't indicate the color of my skin or doesn't indicate what my hand is like. It's just the color of the glove. And I'm here to tell you that your skin is just your house. And, with the skin is just the house, the real you is on the inside. The real you is the inside. And your inside, your real you is not race and color specific. This is just the house that you were born in. Not saying that you don't acknowledge the house you're born in and take pride in your heritage, but I want you to remember that this is just a house. And, your self-image is something different and completely. I mean, your self-image is your mental and spiritual concept and picture of yourself. That's who you are on the inside. And, it's the predetermined belief of who we are right now and who we can become. And that's what your self-image is. And your self-image is really important because it's the way you see yourself at the core, with no filter, no fake, no mask. It's the way you really see yourself. And your self-image is so important because it's going to take you to the place where it can express itself the most. In Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7, it says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And let me tell you, I'm the only one in my neighborhood that looks like me. I'm the only, me and my wife joke, I am the diversity in my neighborhood. And there's a lot of great people in our neighborhood, but that doesn't bother me. You know why that doesn't bother me? Because I don't have a broken self-image. And my father taught me real good that self-image isn't about the color of your skin. Self-image is defined by the worth inside of you. And self-image has been defined for me by who God has said I am. And so I don't have any issues about how they're viewing me. I don't have any issues about, I drive a nice car, and I don't have any issues about somebody else and what they think of me driving this car and how you get that. And I don't have any of those issues. I don't have a broken self-image. And so how you feel about you, I want you to remember this, how you feel about you will indirectly instruct others on how they should feel about you. All right? Are you hearing me? How you feel about you will indirectly instruct others about how they should feel about you also. Okay? You got it? So make sure, if you haven't shared it, I want you to share Facebook, Twitter. You can share with your followers. So I want to make sure that you get this, because inner image is so important. It's like experiencing failure and labeling yourself failure are two completely different things. One is a situation, the other is a mindset. And a lot of times we'll go through things in life and we'll experience things, but we have to let them not define who we are. We might experience a failure in a business. We might experience a failure in something. Maybe somebody's experienced a failure in a marriage, but you cannot let that label and define you as a failure. That's a situation, but don't let it become a mindset. And I believe that a broken self-image tries to hold you back. I mean, a broken self-image, you can always see people with a broken self-image because they're always defending themselves unnecessarily. They're not even being attacked, and they're defending nothing. They're always trying to find, or they're always seeming to find people to prove wrong, like this person's after me, this person's after me. They're always taking offense at comments. And have you ever seen somebody who just seems like they're always getting offended at everything? like you'll be sitting next to them like they didn't even mean it like that. What are you talking about? But it's a mindset. And when you have a broken self-image, you're always trying to defend who you want people to think you are. You're always trying to defend it. And so, people can be saying one thing and you're trying to defend it. Let me tell you, a broken self-image. Here's a test. Somebody in the middle of a crowd screams, "You're such a loser." And you know what? You might look because, hey, you're like interested in what's happening. But another person might look because if they identify themselves as a loser, then it sounds like that's a call to get their attention. But the third person may not really hear it much at all because they don't identify themselves as a loser. So their first thought is, oh, they must be looking for somebody. But it's not me. And so, I believe that broken self-image, it comes out in different ways, but, people assume that they're hating on them. People are looking to play the victim. People are blaming others for their shortcomings. I mean, they'll feel inferior in general. And so, what happens is this broken self-image will try to slow you and stop you from reaching a place of success. And that's just what I want to get to, because you have a place of success to get to. And I want you to get there, but the only way you're going to get there is if you have the correct self-image inside of you that says, yes, I can. Yes, I have been made special and unique. I can do it. I have gifts and talents and abilities within me. I might have experienced failure, but I'm not a failure. I'm a conqueror. I'm victorious. And understand how God has made you and what God says about you. So your self-image is shaped primarily by the way you think. And I appreciate all the hearts. I see all the comments and all the love. Thank you so much. And keep those hearts coming if I'm hitting your topic. Your self-image is shaped primarily by the way you think. So let's go to another example. Money Mayweather. Y'all know Money Mayweather, the boxer. So we have Floyd Mayweather. And he has what is called, and I don't know if he still calls it this, but it's called the money team, right? And so he has the money team, and there was an interview he was conducting within the last couple of years, and he wasn't conducting the interview, he was on the interview, and in the interview they were asking him about the money team and how he constructs his team. And now this is not necessarily an endorsement for how I feel, but I'm just going to say what he said. He said, "On my team, I don't have any ugly people." He said, "I only want good-looking people on my team." And the interviewer was like, "Oh, okay." And he went on to explain why that was. He said, "I only want good-looking people on my team because ugly people seem to have too many self-confidence and self-image issues. And if they have self-confidence or self-image issues, it's going to hinder their ability to successfully market my brand and represent my brand. And I thought that was very, very, very interesting that he took something that was external and he took Team Pacquiao. He took something that was external and he linked it to something that was internal. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's what I think, but it was interesting how he expressed that what was external a lot of times for people started to shape what was internal for them and how they viewed themselves and even how they would conduct business on his behalf. Because he is right. And I'm not saying he's right about the connection, but he is right about the inner image, that when you have somebody with a lower self-image or an inner image and has low confidence, then it can affect the way that they do business. It can affect the way that they talk to people. It can affect the way that they represent your brand. Absolutely. Because there's a confidence sometimes you have to have in your organization, in your business, representing brands that speaks to the brand. And so I thought that was really interesting. So let's get another example. Have you ever known somebody with bulimia or anorexia? Now, these two conditions are health conditions and even mental health conditions, because what happens is they have a bad self-image and a bad self-image of how their body looks like. And they constantly think that they are fat. You can have somebody who's 100 pounds, a young lady, 100 pounds, 5'8". Now, you know 100 pounds on a 5'8" frame is like this big, like for real. Like they're pretty thin at that point. But because of how they see themselves and because of the image inside, they can look in the mirror and say, I'm fat. And you can look at them and say, what the heck are you talking about? Like, you're this big. Like, where's the fat on your body? And it's not about what was reality. It was about what they saw inside and what was internal for them, the picture, the internal picture that they have of themselves. And so the behavior lined up with their image. And their image said, I'm fat, so I got to lose weight. And so the behavior continued to lead them to behave in a way that would put the body at risk, unfortunately, but would help them try to lose weight. And I'm here to tell you that your behavior will always line up with your inner image. You can't patch up a bad inner image. You just got to change it. You got to change it. You got to determine yourself to change your self-image. And so your subconscious plays a big part in this, because your subconscious is not designed to reason. Your subconscious is designed to produce. Like soil. Soil is designed to produce. It's not just designed to sit there and look pretty. It was designed to be able to produce. So your subconscious mind is designed to keep you in line with the self-image that you have. And when your subconscious mind, when it perceives that you are no longer on target with the self-image that you have of yourself, chemicals are actually secreted in your brain that cause a stimulus suppression of energy, ideas, and actions. Did you know that? That chemicals are actually secreted in your brain that causes a stimulus suppression. That means a pushing down, a lowering of energy, ideas, and actions to keep you on target with the inner image that you have of yourself in your subconscious. I'm going to repeat it one more time. So if I say, wait, repeat that. All right, Danielle, this is for you. The subconscious mind must keep you in line with your self-image. So when your subconscious mind perceives that you are no longer on target with the self-image that you have of yourself, chemicals are secreted in your brain that cause a suppression, a pushing down of energy, ideas, and actions, in order to keep you in line with the inner image you have of yourself. So if you have the inner image of a loser, I'm going to give you an example. If you have the inner image of a loser, then your subconscious mind is so powerful that it's going to secrete chemicals that will push down and suppress your energy. You'll feel like you have lower energy. It will push down and suppress ideas, that you can be sitting in the middle of a meeting and there could be ideas that God wants to bring through you. There's a wisdom that wants to come through you. But when you have the image of a loser, then you'll find that ideas seem to be lacking, seem to be very low. And you feel like you don't have anything to offer, not because your brain is broke, not because your creativity is broke, but because the stimulus suppression of ideas has kicked in because of how you see yourself. And then also actions. It will bring you, your subconscious will bring you to a place where it can express itself the most. So what happens is, yes, you're right, you are what you think. So what happens is, if you think you are a loser, Your brain will be able to filter through in your life all the situations where it can express itself as losing. And then what it does is it gets you in those situations and a person loses, and then it reinforces to their conscious and their subconscious, yes, I am in fact a loser. That's how powerful your brain is. That's how powerful you have been made. And so what you think matters. What other people think? Don't care. Whatever. Because no one can stop you from reaching your destiny but you. So that's why it's so important. That's why even God says in the Bible, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. This wasn't a suggestion. God didn't create us like from some template that he got from some other universe source. He is the creator, and he created us in a certain specific way, all different and unique. But when he wrote the Bible as an instruction manual to let you know, yo, I know how you operate. So if you let me train you on how to operate correctly, you will see the best results in life. And so as a man thinks in his heart, in the subconscious, in the self-image, so is he. So what am I telling you? You can never rise above the image that you have of yourself. Principles don't mean anything until they become a part of you. I learned this. Principles don't mean anything until they become a part of you and until they become a part of your self-image. Because it's not principles necessarily that move a person. It's images that move a person. And when a principle gets down into that image and a principle helps to shape your self-image, then it is something that can start to direct you and actually move you into line with that principle. But I can hear principles all day and it sounds good, like, oh yeah, that's good. Oh, that's good too. Oh, that self-image thing, that's good too. But until I adopt it as part of my belief system, as part of my self-image, then it won't matter. And you can rapidly change a person by giving them a different image of themselves. One of the best ways that God has told me to help shape youth is show them something different. Don't just give them something different. Don't just talk to them, but show them something different and show them in a situation so they can see themselves differently. So we are big believers in giving youth opportunities to see themselves differently, go to different environments, to look at themselves as differently, to even conceptualize them being the owner of a business. Instead of being an employee, instead of going to college and just trying to get a good job. I mean, I'm not down in college. I have a college degree. But instead of that being your goal, why don't we expose you to some business owners? And they can bring you in the business and show you what it looks like, what it feels like to own a business, to be the owner of this thing, to be a real entrepreneur, to give you a vision of seeing yourself in a different way. So I believe that the image that you have for yourself will be your limit in life. So what shapes your image? Events, life experiences, authority figures, opinions, information identification. What do I mean by information identification? Meaning that they said this about black people and I'm black, so therefore I identify with that information. Identification of information and identifying with it. And then environments. Environments are a big thing. Do you know that there's a stat out there that says, and I'm trying to remember correctly so I don't misspeak, but I think it's higher than 50%, but we'll go with 50%. There's a stat out there that says that people who drop out of high school, I think over 50% of them never move outside of 5 miles of the area of which their high school was that they dropped out of. And I think that's like an amazing statistic. Like, to say that people who have dropped out of high school, who probably, most of them probably have some self-image challenges. I'll say, when you drop out of high school, that's kind of some of the things that also come along with that. That it forces you to stay right there in that same environment and you don't want to move out. And I believe the way to change your inner image is to change the things that are shaping it. Hey, the news is great for staying informed. And maybe somebody who's listening to this is a newscaster. So, hey, the news is great for staying informed. But me personally, I don't want to listen to the news all day because I don't want that to shape my belief system and I don't want it to shape my inner image of how I see myself. And sometimes there's just information out there that is just trying to get you to shape an inner image of yourself. And I don't want that. Sometimes there's different people, authority figures. Maybe there might be friends that you have that, hey, they don't feed anything positive into you. And they tell you everything that you did wrong, everything that you've done bad in the past, and who you used to be and where you failed. You don't need all that. So sometimes you need to separate yourself from those friends and even events and life experiences. I believe that changing and shaping those. 2016 is a better year. It's a new year. So it's a new you. And so I encourage you, do something different. Just do something different. Sometimes stuff that's even randomly different. One of the most awesome things that I've had an opportunity to do is been able to travel with my dad to all these different countries, and it's helped expand my belief system. It's helped expand my thinking and see different things and see how different cultures and different people behave and some of the challenges of the world and some of the great things that are in the world. Just do something different. You might not have an opportunity to travel the world, but you know what? You can take an opportunity to go to different places. Maybe you always go to a certain area of restaurants. Hey, go 30 miles out and just go to a different area. Maybe you always take a different, same route to work. Maybe you change the route to work and go through some different neighborhoods that you haven't gone to before. Me and my friends, we used to actually drive up to Barrington, and if you're from the Chicago area, you might know where that is. But we used to drive up to Barrington. Somebody said, I just realized who your dad was. Thank you. We used to drive up to Barrington, and they have some huge houses in Barrington. That's just northwest of Chicago. They have some huge houses. 20, 30,000 square foot houses. Massive houses. And sometimes we just used to drive up there just to go to the neighborhood, just to look, just to see, and just to experience what that looks like. And life is more than just having a big house, but just experience, what that looks like, what that feels like. What that would be and what that would feel like to be there, to live there, to be able to expand our and broaden our horizons and our borders. And so 2016, just do something different. Take in different information. I believe that taking in the Bible, the Word of God, I'm a pastor, so I believe that taking in the Bible, the Word of God is the best thing that you can do. And that Jesus is the ultimate image consultant. So I want him to shape me and shape my image. And so you